NFL Wildcard Weekend. We have all the playoff games happening this weekend. Really excited about this. We're a few years in this NFL expanded playoffs, which is all kinds of fun. We were having start talking about the old format and all of that, but we'll just jump right into this new format and not waste any time. We have a lot of games to get to, so I don't know. Do y'all have any, before we jump in, any comments on what you think this playoff spread looks like? As a Broncos fan, my only comment is I think it's hilarious that all of a sudden Bengals fans and general NFL fans think that we should elect playoff teams by like merit and like a BCS style format because the Bengals didn't make it. It's like, hey, man, maybe if you didn't lose to the Patriots in week 1 and fuck up everyone's survivor pools, you'd be in the playoffs right now. So
karma, baby.
Karma, Bengals fans. That's my comment. Anyways, what do y'all think of this playoff spread we got going?
I hope the Chiefs lose this week, even though they're not playing. Is that possible?
Yeah, same. Maybe they'll get snowed in again, and yeah. Bad things like
yeah, man, I'm excited. I think there's some fun matchups in this week, especially like the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. I'm really looking forward to. That's already kind of like a little rivalry there, and then they end up playing each other in the first round of the playoffs. Like, that's going to be a fun one.
As a Ravens fan, like, they're one of my teams I love just because of Lamar Jackson, and they were the first one to really adopt analytics, blah, 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 blah. I'm not worried about the Steelers at all. Like minus
Lamar has historically struggled against
I know, but Russell Wilson's a terrible quarterback.
They're on a 5-game losing streak, dude. Like they are not good.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I've been back in Pitt all year saying y'all are so freaking wrong on Pittsburgh.
I've been wrong on Pittsburgh. I will admit. Even last week, I was like, I want the Bengals. I didn't play it, and then the Bengals were like easily won it. Yet somehow the Steelers covered at the very end. So, like depending on when you got the number. So yeah, I'm not touching that game, but.
Well, Stef, let's start with you anyways. You are the only one of us with a pick for this Chargers-Texans game. I feel like this is widely viewed, at least from what I've seen, just again, watching all the talking heads, like everyone's just kind of rolling with the Chargers here. Like this is already won. What do you think about that? And what's your pick?
Well, I do lean Chargers here as well, but the big thing that I'm kind of on here is Houston just not being able to score very many points. Yeah. So I'm on Houston team total under 20.5. They have just not looked very good lately. If the Chargers can slow down Nico Collins, like what are they going to do? Like you can ride Joe Mixon all you want, but that's not going to get you 25 points, like I just don't see it happening. I think Harbaugh's going to want to slow this game down like he does, run the ball. J.K. Dobbins being back, I think, helps a lot with that. So, yeah, I also do like the Chargers to win this one. Yeah. But minus 150-ish on the money line, not quite the value I want. So I might have that I might do like a Chargers teaser, I don't know, on game day type thing. But right now, just sticking with under.
It feels like, again, sorry, Mike, to take a jab at your NFC South. It feels like an AFC South champion like we've had from the NFC South a lot, which is like the worst team is the home team and should not be favored in this situation.
Well, and the AFC South a lot too. Like
that's
it's
true.
Not like we've been very like the Jacksonville Jaguars and Houston Texans and Colts.
Yeah, since Peyton Manning left the Colts, essentially.
Right.
Giving the NFC South a playoff bid because they won the division is kind of like putting Boise State in the playoffs in my mind.
Maybe we should give it to the Bengals instead.
Yeah,
I mean, the Bengals would beat every team in the NFC South right now, even as trash as their defense is.
If you talk to a Bengals fan, they'd win the goddamn Super Bowl this year if you put them in. So obviously, sorry, I'm bitter because I think it's hilarious.
You know
Suck
what?
it, Bengals, enjoy your offseason.
I do want the Chargers minus 2.5. Let's do that too.
I like it.
All right.
I like the play, man. We made so much money off of Joe Mixon the first 8 weeks of the season.
Yes.
Since Nico Collins came back, that dude hasn't really done shit. Like he's had a couple games here and there, but his consistency is completely gone.
Yeah.
Tank Dell's gone. Stephon Diggs is obviously gone. Like it's
Looking
Nico
for them.
Collins or bust, man. And their offensive line has been trash, and CJ Stroud has been trash because of that. So I just don't see a chance in which they can keep up.
Yep, I agree. Looking for Stroud and Collins to bounce back next year, but this season seems to be done for those guys. All right, Mike, why don't you kick us off with the game that we talked about being the most excited for? Steelers-Ravens. What picks do you have? What do you love about it?
Yeah, I'm taking Pitt plus 9.5 at minus 112, partially because Lamar Jackson does historically struggle against Pitt, but he did tear them apart the last game. But what I find interesting about that, though, is until what's his name, Joey Porter, got injured, the Steelers were right in it. And then once he left, they kind of took off with it. He's back this week. George Pickens missed that game. He's back this week. TJ Watt just played what he called the worst game of his career last week. So he's coming in motivated, looking for some bounce back. Russ, dude, he's had really bad last 5 years, but he's no stranger to the playoffs. He knows what it's like to be in this situation. The Ravens secondary has struggled all year. I do like Tomlin to just have his boys coached up and ready to go, man. I do think that Tomlin is one of the better coaches in the NFL. You can throw shade on me all you want for that. But I just think they come prepared, and Baltimore's going to win. I've got no qualms about that, but I mean, plus 9.5, it just feels like a big overreaction in the market to me right now.
I'll admit Tomlin's a top tier NFL coach after Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl this year, and then you admit he's a top 5 quarterback. I got you into the top 10.
Oh no, we're never going top 5. Absolutely not.
All right, I tried. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I have the other pick on this game. Steelers under 17.5 points. They have scored 17 and 18 points against the Ravens this year. One of those was a win, and the other one was a really big loss. Man, big, snowy. It's 70% chance of snow in Baltimore. Cold game. Classic AFC North. Nastiness, low scoring. If anyone's going to score points, it's not going to be the Steelers. So I just like the nasty AFC North rivalry game. Probably in the snow, or at least snow surrounding the field, and it being very cold. So give me the Steelers under 17.5 points. They are on a big losing streak. Russell Wilson not looking great. Justin Fields' winning percentage on the year is actually higher than his at this point now. So yeah, they're going to keep rolling with Russell Wilson, which, hey, again, as a Broncos fan who apparently has a lot of sour grapes today, you get what you get, Steelers. Sorry, man. You're rolling with the wrong guy. So enjoy that this weekend. So,
and it's a night game. It's gonna be cold and dark, and
Stef, you don't have any picks. Any thoughts on that game?
No, go Ravens, man. Nice.
Like
I said, I'm not too worried about the outcome of the game. I think you guys bring up a lot of valid points. I was looking I kind of wanted to do the Steelers under. I was looking at a bunch of the player props and looking at the rushing unders. I liked those too, but yeah, I think the Ravens win comfortably. I think Mike might still cash his bet, but it might be like a 20-13 with the last second touchdown to make it 13 type of a thing.
Sounds like a win to me, baby.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to my team, which I am like Stef, not picking my own team. I don't have a pick on this Broncos-Bills game. Mike is the only one. What I'll say about this game is I lean pretty heavily to the under. I will probably bet it personally. Another snow game happening in Buffalo, and you have a Broncos defense that disappeared for a few weeks there, but seemed to show up again this last week, even though they're playing the very lowly Chiefs. So if that Broncos defense shows up, that under is a lock. I took it off because, end of the year hasn't been as great, but you had a great Broncos defense going against a really good Bills, and Josh Allen playing at an MVP level this year. He'll probably get it by default, even if Lamar should get it. So yeah, that's the tough pick here. So Mike, what do you got? And I know it's a leg of a parlay, so maybe talk about that.
Yeah, dude, I'm just simply betting against Bo Nix first game of the playoffs against such a strong team with the Bills in Buffalo. All the things you just said about Baltimore. It's freezing, surrounded by Bills Mafia, man. I don't see him being able to do enough. But even with that, I still took it all the way down to -3.5 instead of the 8.5 that it's on. So even if he does show up, I think they keep it close, but I still think Buffalo wins easily by at least 4, no matter which Denver team shows up. So that's the first leg there.
Love it. Yeah, we'll get to their second leg here in a little bit. Let's move on to the next game. You all are sharing a pick on this one. We got the Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles. I would assume if there's weather in Baltimore, there's weather in Philly too. So I didn't look at that weather report, but you can assume that region is all, within
36 and sunny.
Oh, really? So it must be so it's during the day, a little bit different timing than for that one because it's on Sunday versus Saturday night. So all right, why don't you all walk us through why you all like the Eagles in this game? Stef, why don't you start?
Yeah, I am on the Eagles simply because I think they might be the best team in the NFC when healthy. And I think they're getting healthier right now. And I think that is bad news for the Packers, who are a little banged up right now, if we're honest. Jair Alexander, I believe, is going to miss the game.
Christian Watson's out
for the year.
Watson's out. So I just question whether or not they'll be able to do enough against Eagles team that's getting right. Saquon Barkley, kind of wish he would have played last week just to get that record.
Oh, yeah.
But I get it. They have bigger. I mean, if they lose this game, come on, that was a huge mistake. But I think they get going. I think Saquon Barkley is like -290, like anytime touchdown. This thing just stupid. So he's going to get his rushing prop is at like 100 right now. So a lot is expected from this Eagles team. I'm nervous about attacking the total because I could see this thing getting kind of scrappy and low scoring, but I think the Eagles get out on top -4.5.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think this Eagles defense is just too good for Denver or for Green Bay. Second in points allowed, first in yards allowed, 10th against the run, and first against the pass. Green Bay's kind of MO is we're going to really lean on Josh Jacobs, and then once he starts succeeding, Jordan Love's going to drop back and throw a bomb. But the problem is that Philly's defense is too good across the board for Jordan Love to drop back and throw a bomb. So I don't see Green Bay really scoring enough points here. I agree with Stef. I think that Philly is the best team in the NFC right now. I heard a stat today that I think they are the only team in the NFL that has all 22 of their starters from week 1 still healthy and playing football.
That's wild.
And then everybody, they just sat half of their starters. So they're coming in rested. So yeah, I just think strictly the Eagles defense is too good for Green Bay to really do enough on. The other bet that I forgot to put down here that I'm also taking is the highest scoring half to be the second half. Both of these teams have scored more points in the second half all season. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Philly comes out a little slow in the first half, given all the rest that just happened. So I think you're going to see, another touchdown or two in the second half there. And that's at -105, I think it was.
That's also a really fun way to live bet too. Like if it's a slow scoring first half, go ahead and hit that over, at halftime. I always love doing that.
I do like that as well. Yeah, I'm an anti-Nick Sirianni guy, but it's hard to argue with how the Packers are banged up for this one. Going to be a tough one for them. I don't know, man. Maybe Nick Sirianni screws it up, though.
That's
possible. Fired real fast.
Always
that happens. Nick Sirianni will get fired before he hits the locker room. So, all right, let's move on. I'm the only one with a pick on this next game. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Washington Commanders in Tampa Bay. I'm going to go ahead and take the Commanders to win this game straight up. I made a solemn vow a year ago, if you go back and listen, to never make a pro Baker Mayfield bet on this podcast ever again. So I will bet against him, and I will take Jaden Daniels. I think there will be one rookie quarterback. I think this rookie quarterback class is exceptional. Caleb Williams might end up being the worst one. By worst, I mean he still could be really great. We'll see. But I think Jaden Daniels, man, just comes out. I have totally flipped the script on him. If you've been listening to us long enough, and Stefan certainly knows, I think he's the best one out of all of them. I think he just shows up, balls out with nothing to lose rookie season. Like, why not show up and beat the Buccaneers? Again, the NFC South champions, which might as well be the AFC South champions. So that's it.
I don't
They
hate
tried.
it.
They tried to lose last week. The Bucks,
Yes.
man.
Yeah. My only fear of the Commanders is it feels like they've tried to lose like 5 games on the home stretch. And the Bucks, man, Baker will come out and he's going to come and throw for 600 yards this week after all the shit you just gave him. I guarantee you.
100%.
Might as well
If
take
y'all
the
wanna
over
make
while we're at
money,
it.
Go take some Baker Mayfield player props if y'all want to go.
We're starting in our DFS tournament.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that this weekend just to cancel out the juju and see if I can get this pick. All right, we got one more game. We have the Vikings against my LA Rams. I'm picking against them though. I will start. I'm picking against the Rams. They're playing a almost number 1 seed. They're 1 win away from being the 1 seed, and the Vikings end up being the 5 seed on the last week of the season. Man, I wanted the Rams to win a playoff game just to say how right I was. But unfortunately, this is probably the main scenario that could have happened where they're going to run into the wrong team. I think Justin Jefferson goes off in this game. I don't think it's close. I think this -1.5 is way too low. I think the Vikings handle the Rams by a touchdown or more. So that's my take on it. Stefan, how do you feel about Lad McConkey and the Rams? Go ahead.
No, I think I did it the other way. I think I was talking about Puka Nacua and the Chargers.
You were, but I like that we've switched rosters now.
Yeah. No, give me the Rams. The Vikings were in they had the opportunity for the 1 seed and they could not play football last week. They looked awful. Sam Darnold, are you 100% sure about Sam Darnold, Eric? Are you 100% sure?
I'm
Dude, he looked like
about
a deer
Kevin
in
O'Connell
headlights last week.
I think Kevin O'Connell looks like the real deal coach to get this team back on track.
I agree with that.
I do think he is a fun coach, and I would love if he was coaching my team. But the you son of a man, tries on the Chargers. The Rams beat them by 10 last time they played earlier this year. Stafford looked great. I could see another performance like that at home off what was essentially a bye last week for the Rams, for my Rams. Give me LA. Let's go. Plus 1.5. I'm
transferring
not
ownership
actually
to you.
Okay.
I'm transferring. Yes, they are now your Rams, no longer my Rams. I thought they'd win a playoff game, but I don't think they do it against this team. All right, let's dive into our player.
Hold up, bro.
Wait, you have another pick?
Bro. Yeah, I got my whole take on that game for my second leg of my parlay.
I think
that's right.
I'm taking the Rams plus 7.5 because no shit, I did the exact same thing Eric did and said, "Ooh, I like the Vikings," and then I said, "Oh, every time I bet against the Rams this year, I lost, so I'm going with the Rams this time." Dude, look, it's Stafford. It's the veteran quarterback versus the inexperienced playoff quarterback. It's the veteran coach against the inexperienced playoff head coach at home. Do I think the Vikings win? Yeah. Do I think it's close? Yes. So I'm just taking them plus 7.5 there. Sam Darnold just looked terrible last week. So I've got big concerns on if he can actually step up and when it actually matters.
All right.
So plus 7.5.
All right. Well, maybe my Rams will prove you all right for the first time, as you've been telling me how wrong I am about the Rams the rest of this season. So, all right. Player props. Who's kicking us off? We can start at the top. We can jump around. Let's just go. Let's just go back and forth. Mike, why don't you start?
Yeah, this might be my grossest pick of the entire season.
I already hate it.
Russell Wilson over 200 passing yards at minus 120. I mean,
I just threw up out of my asshole somehow.
Oh man, so many things to say. Look, as bad as Pittsburgh looked against Baltimore the last game, Russ has thrown for over 200 yards against them both times they played this year. I'm just hoping that the veteran has another game left of him where he can remember how to actually play football a little bit. And I think he does. I think he steps up here. So
And that Pickens returning will help this too.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially against Baltimore secondary.
Yeah, and Baltimore secondary is hot garbage. And I mean, they've gotten a little better, but they are not a Super Bowl defense, in my opinion.
Nope.
Speaking of ex-Baltimore players, I'll just go with J.K. Dobbins anytime touchdown. Dude has come back, looked pretty good. Last week, had about almost 80 yards total. Did not get a touchdown. However, he is a much better red zone option. He scored 9 touchdowns before he went on IR. Give me J.K. Dobbins anytime touchdown. I saw it at minus 105. I think against Houston, and they have the ball and this running game that Jim Harbaugh loves. I just like Dobbins to get in the end zone. Get him in the end zone and get his playoff run going.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
Stef, what about you?
You mentioned that you think Jaden Daniels is going to have the opportunity to take over this game. Give me a Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. Again, that has to be rushing or receiving. Passing doesn't count. You get that at plus 185.
Dude, that's nuts. That's crazy. He's going to escape it. He's going to escape and catch that.
He also
shitty as the Bucks defenses, man.
And he's an option at the goal line too. They love doing the read zone there, and he'll keep it and go. So yeah, I like that at plus 185.
Did anybody happen to check Terry McLaurin's receiving line for this game? I totally didn't even look at it.
I will.
I have not.
Keep going. I'll look.
While you do that, why don't you talk to us about Rams receiver Lad McConkey? I mean, Chargers receiver. All right, the joke is running its course.
We've hit it about.
we've killed it.
Give me Ladidi McConkey over 72.5 receiving yards, man. He has hit this number in 5 of 6 games, and he's hit it in every game since J.K. Dobbins has returned from his injury. Dude, I've had a ton of fun watching this offense this year. It started like the most traditional ground and pound thing ever. And then it was like, oh shit, we can't run the ball. Now we have to throw the ball every snap. And now it's like the happy medium. It's like 2 polar opposites meet in the middle. And it's in a lot of ways, they've kind of centered this offense around Lad McConkey now.
So absolutely.
Everything we talked about above, and McConkey's great, and go Justin Herbert and over 72.5 yards.
I think Dobbins being healthy makes him better.
Absolutely.
Obviously, too, the run game making the pass game better. Cliche, blah, blah, blah. Stefan, why don't you give us your next one since you have more picks than I do?
So I think Denver has slow played Marvin Mims beautifully. Yeah. The second-year wide receiver from Oklahoma was an absolute menace in college. I was excited for him to join the Broncos, and he just didn't get a whole lot of shake last year. As the season has progressed, you have seen that he is the clear number 2 wide receiver on the Denver Broncos behind Courtland Sutton, and they scheme him open. And that's what I love the most about this guy. And we know Sean Payton loves to scheme players. I can't imagine a world where Marvin Mims doesn't have the opportunity to get this number. It's only 40.5, 20 less than Terry McLaurin's, by the way, Mikey. So yeah, 40.5. Give me the over on the Marvin Mims receiving yards.
Oh, I would love that. That gives me the Broncos could maybe score some points in that game. I'll give you a wide receiver. Give me Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown minus 115. If there's a glaring weak spot in the Rams defense, it's their secondary. I think Justin Jefferson's pretty hungry for the playoffs, ready to go, man. I just think he's the best wide receiver in football, and he's going to show it, which means he's definitely going to score a touchdown. I might even I didn't look it up, but might go ahead and do a sprinkle on a 2-touchdown game for Justin Jefferson here against the Rams. Indoor, man. It's going to be a track meet. All right, Mike.
Let's go Jalen McMillan with the Bucks over 48.5 receiving yards. He's hit this in 6 straight, and in my opinion has become probably the most solid second target of anybody in the NFL, not counting T. Higgins, or maybe Jordan Addison. But man, like if it's not Mike Evans, it's going to Jalen McMillan right now. He's been as sure of a target, and even like that's been another fun progression to watch is from where he started the season to where he is now. Like it's night and day different. So I just like him to continue this here against the Commanders at over 48.5.
Dude, Justin Jefferson 2+ touchdowns is plus 600.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I will
Holy
happily
shit.
take that. That seems like crazy value. I'm surprised it's that good.
I'm gonna
you
go
have
and take the
McMillan.
Terry McLaurin line too.
The over 60.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, he's hit it in 8 of his last 11, so might as well smash it again here against the terrible Bucs defense.
Throw it on there, baby. Throw it on there.
Yeah.
While you're putting that on there, I've got Kyron Williams anytime touchdown at minus 140. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to take all of our player props and I'm going to be putting them in a round robin. So we're going to be putting all kinds of crazy bets out. I am, but minus 140 is still playable on its own, in my opinion. I'm happy to play a player prop down to minus 150. So anytime touchdown for Kyron, I think, for the Rams, he's just such a dynamic weapon. Receiving or rushing, I think you could get this one. So,
yeah, absolutely. And you got one more for us, Dave. I think you got the last one, unless I'm skipping Mike again. I don't think I am, though. I think I've done a good job paying attention this time.
Hey, congrats.
I think Josh Jacobs, anytime touchdown at minus 110. I just think more often than not, he's going to fall in the end zone in this game. So I don't think that the Pack scores a bunch, but I think he'll get one of their touchdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe their only touchdown. But
yeah, if they do, he will be the guy. All right. Thanks for following. Make sure to like, subscribe, all of that, especially the YouTube and the podcast. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, all of those things. Hit all the positive buttons for us. We are going to run this down. We're going to start with NFL game picks, and then we'll move into our props. Mike, why don't you start with your game picks?
Yeah, I'm going to take a little teaser of the Rams plus 7.5 with the Bills minus 3.5. You can get it at minus 120. Give me the Steelers plus 9.5 at the Ravens minus 112. And give me the Eagles at home minus 4.5 against the Packers at minus 112.
Yeah, I'll go with the Steelers under 17.5 team total points. I'll take the Commanders to beat the Bucs straight up on the money line. I'm taking the Vikings against y'all's Rams. Vikings minus 1.5.
All right. I am going to take the Houston team total under 20.5. I'm also going to take the Chargers minus 2.5. With Mike, am on the Eagles minus 4.5. And I will take my Rams at plus 1.5.
That's perfect. All right, Mike, what you got for player props?
The grossest pick of the year, Russell Wilson, over 200 passing yards. Give me Lad McConkey over 72.5 receiving yards. Jalen McMillan over 48.5 receiving yards. And I'm also tacking on Terry McLaurin over 60.5 yards.
Yeah, I got 2 anytime touchdowns for you. J.K. Dobbins to get one of those, and Justin Jefferson to get an anytime touchdown. Both of those, you're getting pretty close to even money. Steve?
Yep, I'm going to go. I have 3 anytime touchdowns with Josh Jacobs and Kyron Williams. And then Jaden Daniels at plus 185 is my biggest one there. And then I'm going to go with Marvin Mims over 40.5 receiving yards for the Denver Broncos. And another fun way to play this is if you take some alt lines and move them on these and then do a little round robin action. As long as they're stuck around that minus 150 area, when you parlay those together, you only have to hit 50% to make money.
Yep. I love it. We're going to make some money this weekend. So much playoff action. Go check out the college football playoff episode. We will see you all next week for more NFL playoffs and college football championship talk. See y'all next week.